What if I told you that a single penny, yes, that tiny copper coin lying forgotten in your junk drawer, could be worth over $500,000 today? That's right. One humble 1960 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, recently made headlines with a jaw-dropping market value of $551,000. Imagine this. You're sipping your morning coffee, scrolling through your coin jar just for fun, and suddenly your heart skips a beat. You realize you've got the one. Sounds far-fetched? It's not. And if you stick around, I'll show you exactly why this ordinary-looking coin is anything but ordinary. Quick question before we begin. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Not glanced. Looked. You might want to start doing that after this video. Let's dive into the story of the 1960 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. A coin that's quietly creating millionaires one collector at a time. To understand why this particular penny is so valuable, we have to rewind the clock to 1960. A year when gas was 31 cents a gallon, JFK was running for president, and American coins were entering a strange new era. The U.S. Mint produced two primary versions of the Lincoln Memorial Cent that year, one with a small date and one with a large date. And while both are collectible, the no-mint mark version of the small date, minted in Philadelphia, holds a powerful mystery. Why? Because among the millions produced, some were struck with rare die errors, resulting in nearly invisible doubling, misalignments, and even off-center strikes. Tiny flaws that made these coins massively desirable. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most people wouldn't even notice the difference between a regular 1960 penny and one of these ultra-rare versions. To the naked eye, they look the same. But collectors? They know. And they're willing to pay big time. And recently, one of these pennies, just one, was auctioned for a staggering $551,000. Let that sink in. A 1-cent coin, $500,000. Still think checking your change jar is a waste of time? Quick laugh break. Imagine telling your spouse you found a $551,000 coin. They'd probably ask what you've been drinking. But once the check clears, suddenly you're the genius in the house. Now let's talk about what makes your penny possibly worth that kind of money. First, no mint mark. That means it was minted in Philadelphia, which didn't use a mint mark at the time. Second, the date. Look closely. There are two types of 1960 pennies: the small date and the large date. The small date version is the jackpot. How can you tell the difference? In the small date version, the 9 and 6 are level with the 1 and 0. In the large date version, the 6 tends to sit higher. Subtle, but that subtlety is what collectors pay for. Third, look for doubling. The most valuable versions show what's called a double die error, especially on the words liberty or in God we trust. These are errors caused when the die used to stamp the coin shifts between strikes. To the untrained eye, it looks like a smudge. To collectors, it looks like 6 figures. Fourth, condition. The shinier, the better. A well-preserved penny in mint state, especially with those rare traits, skyrockets in value. Don't worry, you don't need a microscope and a PhD in numismatics. Just a little patience, a magnifying glass, and this video playing in the background while you sort through your coins. Now you might be thinking, okay, maybe I'll find one that's worth a few $100. And yes, many of these coins are fetching between $5,000 and $25,000 even without major errors. But here's the kicker. There are rumors and growing evidence that a handful of 1960 no-mint mark pennies may have been struck using transitional planchets. Those are blank coin discs left over from other years or materials. That could mean a different metal composition entirely. Translation: we may be looking at hidden versions of this coin worth well over $1 million. And most people will never know because they tossed it back in the tip jar at the coffee shop. Still think it's just a penny. So here's what you need to do right now. Go grab every penny you've got. Check those jars, drawers, old piggy banks, that shoebox in the garage. Search for 1960 pennies with no mint mark. Look for the small date. Examine for doubling. Pay attention to weight and color. It could be a transitional error. And when you find something that looks promising, don't rush to a pawn shop. Get it appraised by a professional numismatist. Use online grading services. Some of the highest payouts came from coins that collectors almost gave away for a few bucks, until they got them properly graded. You don't want to be the person who sold a $551,000 coin for $20 on eBay. In a world full of inflation, economic chaos, and digital everything, There's something powerfully poetic about a tiny copper coin holding this much hidden value. It's a reminder that sometimes wealth isn't always in the stock market or a startup. Sometimes it's just sitting in your coin jar, waiting to be discovered. If you found this video eye-opening, here's your next step. Subscribe to this channel for weekly tips on rare and valuable coins hiding in plain sight. You don't want to miss the next $1 million penny we uncover. And share this video with someone who collects coins, or even someone who just needs a little hope that fortune might literally be at their fingertips. Remember, wealth doesn't always look like gold bars and mansions. Sometimes, it looks like a 1-cent coin from 1960. What if I told you that a tiny copper coin, possibly hiding in your kitchen drawer or buried in a forgotten piggy bank, could be worth over $500,000 today? Yes, you heard that right. A 1961 Lincoln penny with an S-mint mark, the kind you may have passed off as pocket change years ago, has been auctioned for as much as $551,000. Let that sink in. 1 cent. Over $500,000. Now here's the real question. Could you unknowingly be sitting on a fortune? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll discover exactly why this unassuming little coin has collectors scrambling, how to spot a genuine jackpot, and whether your coin might just be your ticket to a wealthier lifestyle. Oh, and don't blink, because just one small detail could mean the difference between a penny and a payday. Scene transition, calm music. Let's rewind for a moment. It's 1961. John F. Kennedy is president. The U.S. is deep into the space race. And in the quiet city of San Francisco, a batch of Lincoln cents is being minted with a tiny but powerful symbol. The letter S. That S stands for San Francisco Mint, and those coins, like the one we're talking about, weren't supposed to be special. At least, not at first. But here's where the story takes a turn. Out of millions of pennies struck that year, only a handful emerged with near-perfect minting, flawless strike details, deep red coloration, and zero signs of wear. These rare gems are what collectors now call red proofs or high-grade business strikes, and they can sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Insert humor/pattern interrupt. And no, dipping your penny in ketchup will not turn it red enough to fetch $500,000. Sorry, folks, we tried. Now, you may be wondering, what makes a coin like this worth such a staggering amount? It's a mix of rarity, condition, and demand. Let's break that down. First, rarity. The 1961 S penny isn't rare in the sense of how many were made, but rare in terms of surviving flawless coins. Time, circulation, and damage eliminated the majority. Only a microscopic percentage survived in what experts call mint state 67 or higher, the holy grail for coin collectors. Second, condition. Graded by third-party services like PCGS or NGC, these coins are analyzed under intense magnification. A penny in pristine condition, no scratches, rich red luster, and full design details, is what gets serious attention, and serious money. Third, demand. The Lincoln Cent series is arguably the most collected coin series in America. It's familiar, nostalgic, and personal. Almost every collector started with one, which means competition for high-grade pieces is intense. Bridge transition now. I know what you're thinking. How do I know if I have the right one? Stay with me because we're about to dive into the exact features you need to look for. Before we reveal the step-by-step checklist, ask yourself this. When was the last time you really looked at the coins in your jar? Because the next 30 seconds might change everything. All right, here's how to tell if your 1961 S Lincoln penny is worth life-changing money. Flip your penny. Look just under the year 1961. You should see a tiny S. That's the San Francisco Mint mark. Examine the surface. If it's shiny, copper red, and looks almost brand new, you may have a shot. This is what's called a red designation, and it's crucial. Check for any contact marks, scratches, or signs of circulation. The fewer imperfections, the higher the grade. Get it professionally graded. PCGS or NGC certification is non-negotiable if you're aiming for 6 figures. And step 5, the secret sauce. Look for full sharp details on Lincoln's coat, hair, and the memorial building on the reverse side. The sharper, the better. Now the big question. What's your next move? Do you keep tossing your coins in a drawer? Or do you take a closer look? Because the truth is, your opportunity may be right under your nose. And the window to cash in on coins like these won't stay open forever. Collectors are getting smarter. Markets are getting tighter, and that 1961's penny is becoming harder to find by the day. Call to action strong ending if you want more strategies on spotting rare coins, getting top dollar, and transforming forgotten change into serious income. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a coin that could change your life. And hey, before you leave, check your pockets. You just might be richer than you think. Still curious about rare coins? Watch this next video to discover the 1970 quarter that sold for over $350,000, and how you can find one too. Fade out. What if I told you that a single dusty penny, sitting at the bottom of your old coin jar, could change your life forever? No, this isn't a dream. This is real. A 1962 Lincoln penny with a tiny little D mint mark has recently been sold for a jaw-dropping $553,000. Now ask yourself, do you have one? It might be in that forgotten box in your attic. Or maybe in a collection you inherited and never really looked at. Right now, someone, somewhere, has this coin and doesn't even know it. Could that someone be you? Quick pattern interrupt, wait, hold on. Before you go diving into your couch cushions like a pirate on a treasure hunt, let's break down exactly what makes this humble penny so incredibly valuable. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and what to do if you're holding a mini fortune in your hand. Let's take a step back. The year is 1962. John F. Kennedy is president. The Cold War is heating up, and the U.S. Mint in Denver is quietly producing what would eventually become one of the most sought-after pennies in American coin history. The 1962 D. Lincoln Memorial penny was minted in massive numbers, over 1.7 billion to be exact. So why is one of them now worth over $500,000? Because not all coins are created equal. Most of those 1.7 billion pennies were average, circulated, scratched, tossed, forgotten, but a few rare ones, they were struck with minting errors. Some had double dies, others were pressed on the wrong metal planchet, and a select handful were preserved in pristine, mint-state red condition, meaning they never saw the inside of a pocket. And here's the kicker, collectors are hunting for these exact coins as we speak. Because these rare versions, they've fetched auction prices north of $500,000. And yes, one recently made headlines when it sold for $553,000. Humorous pattern interrupt, I mean, just imagine paying for a cup of gas station coffee with a penny that could buy you a house. That's like trading a Rolex for a bag of chips. Now, let's talk about what makes a 1962 D penny so valuable. First, condition is everything. Coins graded MS-67 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC can bring in astronomical prices. Second, the color matters. The redder, the better. A shiny red copper glow signals that the coin has never been exposed to air or oils from human hands. Collectors drool over that. Third, errors and variations.
Double die Obverse.
Off-center strikes.
Die Cracks.
Planchet flaws. These are the kinds of tiny details that take a penny from being worth 1 cent to life-changing money. Here's where you lean in. Even circulated coins, if they have the right error, could still bring in tens of thousands of dollars, so don't rush to spend that change just yet. Now you're probably thinking, this sounds amazing, but how do I know if my 1962 D penny is the rare one? First, grab a magnifying glass or even just your phone camera. Look at the mint mark under the year. It should be a small D for Denver. Next, inspect for any oddities. Does the coin look off-center? Are there shadows on the numbers or letters? That could indicate a double die. Still unsure? Then here's your next move. Get it professionally graded. That little investment could unlock your ticket to a wealthier lifestyle. Literally. Quick attention reset with humor, and if you don't want to do the legwork, hey, I won't judge. But just promise me one thing. Don't use it to pay for a parking meter. Because if you've got the real deal, you might be holding your kids' college tuition, or your next vacation home, or just the freedom to never worry about money again. Now, here's a question that keeps collectors up at night. What if there are even rarer versions of the 1962 D penny still undiscovered? Coins with extreme double dies or struck on foreign planchets that no one has seen yet. The next $1 million penny could still be hiding, right in your change drawer. So before you go, do this. Subscribe for more insider tips on coins that can transform your financial future. We're revealing hidden gems, rare mint errors, and forgotten treasures in upcoming videos. You don't want to miss that, because sometimes all it takes is 1 cent to change everything. You might want to sit down for this, because that old penny hiding in your drawer, it could be worth more than $500,000. Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent from 1963.no mint mark. Current market value? Up to $553,000. Pause for a second and ask yourself this. What if your ticket to wealth was sitting quietly inside an old jar, ignored for decades? Now, before you toss that handful of change in the coin machine at the grocery store, listen closely. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why this humble little penny is commanding life-changing money, and how it could transform your life forever. And hey, don't feel bad if you've never paid attention to pennies. Most people overlook them, but that's exactly where the treasure hides, in plain sight. Now let's dive into the mystery, the rarity, and the surprising value of the 1963 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny. But first, quick question. When's the last time you actually looked at a penny? Not just saw one, but looked. Think about it. Let's rewind to 1963. The Beatles hadn't hit the US yet. Martin Luther King Jr. was delivering his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech. And quietly, the US Mint was producing millions of Lincoln Memorial cents. Most came from Philadelphia, which is why they have no mint mark. And yes, most of them are completely ordinary. But here's where it gets exciting. Among those millions were a small handful of error coins and flawless strikes in near-perfect condition. Coins with razor-sharp details, deep luster, and unusual variations like die doubling, off-center strikes, and proof-like surfaces have recently sold for jaw-dropping prices at auctions. 1 pristine 1963 Lincoln penny with no mint mark recently fetched $553,000. Why? Because collectors aren't just buying a coin, they're buying history, rarity, and perfection. You see, when a coin survives over 6 decades without scratches, corrosion, or wear, it becomes a miracle of preservation. You're holding a coin that was made before man walked on the moon, and it still looks brand new. That's not just money, that's a legacy. Why is it called a no mint mark coin if it's from Philadelphia? Shouldn't it say P? Well, plot twist, it doesn't. The Philadelphia Mint didn't add its mint mark to pennies until 1980. So technically, no mint mark means it is from Philly. Confused? Don't worry. So are most people. But confusion leads to missed opportunity, and we're not about to let that happen to you. Now you might be asking, how do I know if my penny is worth money? Stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you next could be the difference between pocket change and a life-changing payday. Let's talk strategy. If you want to find out if your 1963 penny is valuable, here's what you need to look for. The coin should be in uncirculated or mint state. If it's shiny, scratch-free, and has all the original details, you're on the right track. Look for doubling in the date or lettering, off-center designs, or misaligned dies. These mistakes make the coin rare. Bright red color, also called red RD by grading services, can triple or even multiply the coin's value tenfold. Still with me? Good. Because now comes the cliffhanger. Let's say you find one of these gems. What then? You can't just walk into a pawn shop and expect $500,000. You'll need a grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify the condition and rarity. Then you list it or take it to auction where real collectors are waiting. And here's the kicker. People have already done this, regular folks. Not collectors, not historians. Just everyday people who looked at a coin, got it graded, and walked away with hundreds of thousands. That dusty shoebox in your attic? It might be your retirement fund. That penny under your car seat might just buy you the car of your dreams. And that pocket change in your coat from 15 winters ago could be holding a secret more powerful than a lottery ticket. Because this is real money, backed by real demand. Let's be honest. In today's economy, who wouldn't want to turn 1 cent into $500,000? It's not just exciting, it's urgent. Because as more coins are discovered, prices shift. The clock is ticking. Now, here's what I want you to do. Go check your coins. Really look at them. And if you think you've found something special, don't wait. Get it appraised. Get it graded. Get it listed. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button, because we've got more secrets to share. More coins worth more money. More ways to unlock hidden value sitting right in your home. Your journey to a wealthier lifestyle could start with something as small as a penny, but what you do next, that's what changes everything. Subscribe for more insider tips on coin values, rare finds, and strategies to turn forgotten change into fortune. Leave a comment if you've ever come across a rare penny, or think you might have one. And remember, you're just one coin away from a completely different life. Thanks for watching. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, just one, could be your ticket to a six-figure payday? No fancy investments, no lottery tickets, just a small, forgotten piece of copper sitting in a drawer, a change jar, or even inside your car's cup holder. The 1964 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny.it might look like pocket change, but right now, one of these coins has been valued at a staggering $554,000. Yes, over $500,000 for a penny. Stay with me, because in the next 10 minutes, I'll show you exactly what to look for, how to spot the rarest versions of this coin, and why collectors are willing to pay a fortune for it. And I'll warn you, once you know the truth, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. Oh, and if you're thinking who would ever pay that for a penny? Well, the same kind of people who paid $1.7 million for a nickel. Welcome to the wild world of coin collecting, where yesterday's lunch money could be today's retirement fund. Scene transitions into historical imagery. 1960s America, civil rights marches, JFK clips. 1964 was a year of transformation. The Beatles came to America, Martin Luther King Jr. won the Nobel Peace Prize, and the nation grieved the loss of President Kennedy. Amidst this pivotal moment in history, a small coin was minted, coin that would unknowingly become a buried treasure. We're talking about the 1964 Lincoln Memorial Penny. Struck in copper and bearing the image of Abraham Lincoln, this coin was produced in vast quantities, over 6 billion, to be exact. But here's where things get interesting. Not all 1964 pennies were created equal. Some came with subtle errors, others were struck in extraordinary conditions, and the rarest of them, those with a flawless strike, no mint mark, and unique die characteristics, have become prized among elite collectors. Now, you might be wondering, no mint mark? Isn't that normal for 1964? Great question. In fact, Philadelphia minted coins often lacked mint marks during that era. But here's the twist. It's not just the missing mark that matters, it's the condition. The die errors, the double dies, the ghosting effects, and above all, rarity. There's one known variety of this coin with a double die on Lincoln's eye and the word Liberty. It looks almost like the coin is blinking. And that specific error, in pristine condition, was appraised at over $500,000. But that's not even the rarest thing about it. Scene shows a hand holding up a coin to a magnifying glass, then cuts to slow zoom-ins of coin details. So how do you know if you're holding a jackpot coin? It starts with the basics. Check the year, 1964. Look for a missing mint mark beneath the date. Examine for doubling on letters, Lincoln's features, or the memorial lines. Condition is everything. If your coin has sharp edges, no scratches, and a deep red copper luster, you might be holding a fortune. Most 1964 pennies are worth face value, but a rare few, especially those graded MS-67 red by professional services, can go for thousands. And if yours has a known error or misstrike, the price could skyrocket. And if you've been using it to prop up a wobbly table leg, well, you might want to flip that table in joy. But here's the hard truth. Every single day, valuable coins are lost, spent, or thrown into Coinstar machines, never to be seen again. One small mistake, and a $500,000 coin is gone forever. But you don't have to make that mistake. Because now, you have the eyes to see value in what others overlook. So here's what you do next. Go check your coin jars, your drawers, that old piggy bank your kids haven't touched in years. And when you find a 1964 Lincoln penny, don't dismiss it. Examine it. Research it. And if it looks promising, get it graded. Could change your life. We're just getting started. There are dozens of other coins hiding in plain sight, worth tens, hundreds, even millions of dollars. And in the next video, I'll show you another everyday coin that sold for nearly $2 million with one tiny error you'd never expect. But for now, hit subscribe, drop a comment if you've ever found an old coin, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss your chance to become America's next accidental millionaire. Because you're wealthy, lifestyle might just begin with a penny. Imagine this, you're digging through a dusty jar of pennies in your garage. One coin slips through your fingers. Nothing flashy, Just a simple brown penny dated 1965. But what if I told you that exact coin, right now, could sell for over $555,000? Yes, you heard that right. A single penny with no mint mark, minted in 1965, has changed lives. Not because it looks special, but because most people have no idea what to look for. And that's exactly how treasures stay hidden. So here's the question. What if you've been sitting on wealth this whole time without knowing it? Stick around, because in the next 10 minutes, I'll walk you through the secret behind this penny, the specific traits that make it worth a small fortune, and how you can cash in before it disappears from circulation forever. And hey, before you toss that penny into the Coinstar machine, maybe hold up. It might just be your lottery ticket. Let's rewind to 1965, a chaotic time in American currency history. That year, due to a severe coin shortage, the U.S. Mint made a drastic decision to stop putting mint marks on coins. Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, all their marks were stripped from circulation coins. The result? Millions of 1965 pennies were produced without a mint mark. So what makes one of them worth $555,000 while the others are worth, well, 1 cent? Here's where it gets interesting. A rare few of these 1965 pennies were struck on leftover silver planchets. That means they were minted on coin blanks that should have been used for dimes, not pennies. It's like printing a dollar bill on a sheet meant for a 20. Rare, misprinted, and extremely valuable. These off-metal errors are so rare, even seasoned collectors do a double take. And that's just the beginning. Alright, let's get specific. Here's what to look for if you suspect your 1965 penny could be a jackpot coin. First, weight matters. A regular 1965 penny should weigh around 3.11 grams. But those struck on silver dime planchets? They weigh closer to 2.5 grams. Lighter than normal. That's your first clue. Second, the color and sound. If your penny has a silvery or grayish shine instead of the usual copper tone, and it makes a sharper, higher-pitched sound when dropped, you might be on to something. Third, the rim and strike. Because the dime blank is smaller, the penny's rim may appear weaker or off-center. Lincoln's portrait might be cut off near the edge. It's subtle, but coin experts see it like a red flag. And here's the plot twist. Many of these rare pennies escaped quality control and made it into everyday pockets. That means regular folks, not dealers, not collectors, have discovered these treasures by accident. And yes, some of them sold for over $500,000 at auction. Let that sink in. A coin you could have in your sock drawer right now might pay off your mortgage. And then some. Quick humor break, pattern interrupt. Okay, real talk. If you just paused this video to sprint toward your coin jar, I don't blame you. Honestly, I'd be disappointed if you didn't. But before you dig, here's what you need to know next. Let's say you find a 1965 no mint mark penny that fits the profile. What do you do next? Step 1, don't clean it. Seriously, cleaning a rare coin can reduce its value by thousands. Let the professionals handle the dirt. Step 2, get it weighed. Most jewelers or coin shops will have a precision scale. You want that magic number, 2.5 grams or very close to it. Step 3, authentication. Send your coin to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. If it's the real deal, they'll grade it, encapsulate it, and assign a market value. This step is key for collectors and auction houses. Step 4, profit. Recent auction records show 1965 silver planchet pennies fetching between $300,000 and $555,000 depending on condition. One near-mint example went for over $500,000 in front of stunned collectors. And don't worry, even if yours isn't silver, there are other valuable variations of the 1965 penny, including double dies and off-center strikes. So the game isn't over. But here's the kicker. Experts believe there are still dozens, maybe hundreds of these rare 1965 pennies circulating undetected. That means someone out there, maybe you, is holding on to wealth and doesn't even know it. So before you drop that penny on the sidewalk or hand it to a cashier, maybe, just maybe, take a second look. Your retirement fund might be hiding in plain sight. If this video opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button. Every week, we uncover the hidden stories of everyday coins that are secretly worth a fortune. Don't let another one slip through your hands. Your next penny could be your biggest paycheck yet. And remember, the next time someone says it's just a penny, smile, because they don't know what you know. Imagine reaching into an old jar of pennies, and pulling out one that could change your life forever. Now, picture that penny being from 1966. No mint mark. Just another old copper coin. Right? Wrong. This seemingly ordinary Lincoln penny is now making waves in the collector's world, recently valued at up to $556,000, and some even speculate its true worth could reach into the millions as demand skyrockets. What if that penny is sitting right now at the bottom of your junk drawer, forgotten for decades? And what if you let it slip through your fingers? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we're diving into a coin that could turn your forgotten change into generational wealth. And if you think this is just hype, let me prove to you why this 1966 no mint mark Lincoln penny is not just a coin, but a golden opportunity. Let's rewind the clock to 1966. The Beatles were topping the charts, gas cost 32 cents a gallon, and the US Mint was making some very curious decisions. Due to a coin shortage and public hoarding of coins from the silver transition years, the Mint temporarily stopped placing mint marks on coins from 1965 to 1967. That means pennies from 1966 show no mint mark, regardless of whether they came from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. So, if millions were made without mint marks, why on earth would a 1966 penny be worth more than a Ferrari today? Here's where it gets exciting. Not all 1966 pennies were created equal. Some were struck on rare planchets, others show double die errors, off-center strikes, or have exceptional red luster that's been perfectly preserved for nearly 6 decades. It's like finding a misprinted dollar bill. Except this one could fund your retirement. Have you ever spent a penny thinking it was worthless, only to find out later it could have bought you beachfront property in Florida? Yeah, me too. Painful flashbacks, right? Let's talk value. The most pristine examples of the 1966 penny, especially those with high MS grades like MS67 Red, are commanding up to $556,000 in auctions. And no, that's not a typo. That's $500,000. For 1 cent, but here's the kicker. There's a specific detail that sets the most valuable versions apart, and most people miss it. I'll tell you what that is in just a moment. So, what should you be looking for? Color and grade matter. If your 1966 penny still shines like it was minted yesterday, you're in the game. Look for errors. Doubling, misalignments, weak strikes, and any unusual design abnormalities. And get this. Some of the highest value pennies were simply lucky survivors from high-quality copper batches. Now here's your challenge. Tonight, pull out that old coin jar. Check the back of your drawer. Flip open that childhood piggy bank. Because you could be holding a 6-figure fortune without even knowing it. Every million-dollar story starts with one decision. One coin. One moment of curiosity. Look, I'm not saying your penny is going to make you the next Elon Musk, but it might just pay off your Tesla. Collectors are actively hunting these coins as values skyrocket. And once those rare ones are off the market, they're gone. Forever. You don't want to be the person who threw away $500,000 in a vending machine, do you? And here's something that might shock you. There's another Lincoln penny from the same decade that's been valued at over $1.7 million. Want to know which one? I'll tell you in our next video, so don't just scroll away. Hit that subscribe button right now, tap the bell so you don't miss the next hidden treasure, and if you've got a 1966 penny lying around, drop a comment below. I want to know what you find. You might be holding history and your future. Imagine this. You walk past an old coffee can filled with pennies every day. You've seen it 1,000 times. It's just spare change, right? But what if I told you, buried in that rusty tin could be a single coin worth over $500,000? Let that sink in. 1 cent worth $557,000. Now take a second. Ask yourself, when's the last time you checked your change? This isn't a fantasy. It's real. And the coin we're talking about. The 1967 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny. And yes, it's sitting in homes, junk drawers, and glove compartments across America, silently waiting to make someone rich beyond imagination. Today, I'll reveal how this unassuming penny became a millionaire's secret weapon, why collectors are fighting for it, and how you might already own one without even knowing. Stay with me, because what you discover over the next 10 minutes could be the most profitable mistake of your life. Let's rewind. The year is 1967. Lyndon B. Johnson is in office. Gas is 33 cents a gallon. And the US Mint is doing something highly unusual to combat rising coin shortages and counter rampant coin hoarding. The Mint temporarily eliminates mint marks from all coins, including the Lincoln penny. That's right. No little D for Denver. No S for San Francisco. Just nothing. Now here's where it gets fascinating. Most 1967 pennies are just regular copper coins. But a small number, due to minting errors, metal inconsistencies, and die varieties, turned out to be anything but ordinary. Some were double-struck. Others had off-metal compositions. A few had rare die varieties like bold doubling or rotated dies. And these flawed coins, they're the ones that fetch life-changing money today. In fact, one rare 1967 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark and distinct striking errors, recently sold for over $557,000 at auction. Imagine that. A single penny paying off your mortgage, funding your retirement, and still leaving enough for a vacation home. And to think, you once tossed one of these into a vending machine for a Snickers bar. Now you're probably wondering, what exactly should you look for? Let's break it down to separate treasure from trash. Here are 3 golden signs your 1967 penny might be the jackpot. Number 1. Weight and composition. A genuine 1967 penny should weigh 3.11 grams and be composed of 95% copper. But a few error coins were struck on different planchets, like dimes or foreign coins, which are lighter and thinner. If your penny feels unusually light, don't ignore it. Number 2. Die errors and doubling. Look closely. Use a magnifier if you can. Some of the rarest 1967 pennies show strong doubling on the date or the word Liberty. Others have minting anomalies like off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or repunched letters. Number 3. Luster and condition. Even a rare coin loses value if it's damaged. The Holy Grail? A mint state condition, often graded MS 65 or higher. If your 1967 penny has full luster, minimal scratches, and sharp edges, you're holding something extraordinary. And here's the part no one tells you. Some of the most valuable 1967 pennies have a nearly invisible flaw only professional graders can detect. And I'll tell you exactly what that is in just a moment. But first, would you believe me if I said a man once found one of these coins in a parking meter return slot? Because it happened. True story. Which brings us to the million-dollar question. How do you sell a coin like this for top dollar? If you think you might own a rare 1967 Lincoln penny, do not try to sell it at your local pawn shop. That's a rookie mistake. Instead, here's what to do. Step 1. Get it appraised by a certified coin grading company like PCGS or NGC. Step 2. Authenticate it. A coin that's verified can fetch 5 to 10 times more than an unverified one. Step 3. List it smart. Use high-end auction houses like Heritage or Stack's Bowers. These attract serious collectors willing to pay big money. And that hidden flaw I mentioned earlier, it's called a transitional error. Some 1967 pennies were mistakenly struck with older dies, giving them slight anomalies that only top graders can spot. But when they do, the value skyrockets. Right now, somewhere across America, someone is sitting on a 1967 penny and has no idea they're a half-millionaire. Could it be you? The choice is simple. Walk past that old jar of coins one more time, or take 5 minutes to check what might be your golden ticket to a brand new life. If this video opened your eyes, imagine what else you've been walking past all these years. Subscribe now for more insider secrets on rare coins, collecting tips, and the strategies that could turn your pocket change into a powerful wealth strategy. Because in the world of rare coins, every cent counts. What if I told you there's a single penny, yes, a 1-cent coin, sitting in a dusty drawer or old jar somewhere in America right now? That's worth over $558,000. Not a silver coin, not a rare dollar bill, but a 1968 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark. You might be thinking, wait, a penny? From 1968? I've thrown those away. Exactly. And that's where the fear kicks in. Because people all over the country are unknowingly spending or tossing away a fortune in plain sight. But what makes this ordinary-looking coin worth enough to buy a house in Beverly Hills or fund an early retirement? That's what we're diving into today. Stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you might just discover you've been sitting on a life-changing treasure and didn't even know it. Let's roll back the clock. It's 1968. The US is deep in cultural change. Martin Luther King Jr. has just been assassinated. The Vietnam War is at its peak. But in the middle of all that chaos, the U.S. Mint is quietly producing millions of Lincoln Memorial cents. Now, here's the twist. The Philadelphia Mint, unlike Denver or San Francisco, didn't stamp a mint mark on its coins. So when you see a 1968 penny with no mint mark, it's from Philly. Big deal, right? Tons of coins came from Philadelphia. But only a few of those 1968 no mint mark pennies were struck with a rare, nearly perfect die alignment, deep strike, and flawless copper tone, combined with a unique error that makes them incredibly rare. Some call it a fluke. Others, a miracle. Collectors call it a goldmine. In 2024, a verified 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in near-mint condition was sold in a private auction for $558,000. Just imagine, one of those might be hiding between the couch cushions or in an old piggy bank from your childhood. You feel that excitement creeping in. That urge to check your stash? That's not random. That's the feeling of opportunity knocking. And now, let's take a deeper look at why these pennies became so valuable. The secret sauce. Rarity meets condition number 1. Die variety. Some of these 1968 pennies were struck using worn or misaligned dies, creating subtle but identifiable errors, like a double die reverse or a ghosted profile. Number 2. Preservation. Most pennies from the 60s were circulated to death, but a tiny number were stored carefully, remaining crisp and uncirculated, graded MS-67 or above. That's where the money is. And number 3. Copper composition. Unlike later pennies, the 1968s were made from 95% copper. In today's market, copper adds intrinsic value. But with a rare variety and pristine condition, now we're talking investment grade. Quick reset here. Have you ever stared at your change and thought, there's nothing here but junk? Well, maybe it's time to look again. What if your junk drawer is your hidden retirement plan? Now here's the kicker. There's no giant neon sign that tells you which 1968 penny is worth $500,000. That's where knowledge meets action. Step 1. Go through your coin jar, drawer, or inherited coin collection. Look for a 1968 penny with no mint mark, just under the year. Step 2. Examine its condition. Is it shiny, scratch-free, with sharp edges and strong details? That could mean uncirculated grade. Step 3. Consult a reputable coin grader. Companies like PCGS or NGC can certify your coin. It costs a bit upfront, but if it's the right one, the payout could be, well, life-altering. Now I know what you're thinking. Is it even worth the time? Would you search for 10 minutes if it meant the chance to find a $558,000 check made out to you? That's what we're talking about. You don't need to be a numismatist. You don't need to understand ancient coin language. You just need the curiosity, the courage, and the follow-through to check. Because while others are laughing at penny chasers, the smart ones are laughing their way to the bank. Before we wrap, one last thought. Every wealthy person I've interviewed or studied has this in common. They never ignore the little things, especially the little things that could turn into big wealth. So, don't let that coin slip through your fingers. And if you found this eye-opening, don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button for weekly videos that reveal the hidden money in your everyday coins. Old quarters, nickels, dimes. They're not just pocket change. They could be your passport to financial freedom. Your journey to building wealth from forgotten coins starts now. Because sometimes, fortune really does come in small, copper-colored packages. Imagine holding something so small, so ordinary, that it slips right through your fingers every day. Now imagine that same object is worth $500,000. You'd look at your change jar a little differently, wouldn't you? One specific penny minted in 1969 with an S-mint mark could be the key to a completely different life. We're not talking about some fairy tale. This penny, yes, a 1-cent coin, has been valued at $559,000 in today's market. And some rare versions have sold for millions at auction. Now ask yourself, have you checked your pennies lately? Because this little copper piece might just be the golden ticket you've been sitting on. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to spot the real deal, and why people are getting life-changing payouts for a coin most people ignore. Don't blink. This could be the most valuable 10 minutes of your life. Let's rewind the clock. It's 1969. Neil Armstrong walks on the moon. The Vietnam War rages on. And at the San Francisco Mint, an accident happens, a tiny error that would go unnoticed by most eyes, but create one of the most coveted pennies in American coinage history. The 1969 S double die obverse Lincoln penny. What makes this penny so extraordinary? It's not just the S mint mark. It's a striking doubling error on the front of the coin, the obverse. The words liberty, in God we trust, and the date 1969 appear clearly doubled, as if stamped twice, slightly misaligned. The U.S. Secret Service once seized and destroyed these coins because they thought they were counterfeit. That's how dramatic the doubling appeared. Today, we know better. They weren't fakes. They were mint errors, ultra rare, ultra valuable, and only a handful are known to exist. That's why the value has soared to $559,000 in verified sales, and counting. Now let's pause for a second. How many times have you tossed a penny aside because it seemed worthless? If you're nodding your head, you're not alone. But remember, hidden fortune doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it jingles quietly in your pocket. Let me ask you this. Have you ever bent down to pick up a penny, only to walk away thinking, why did I bother? Well, if it was one of these 1969 S double dies, you just walked away from a new car, maybe even a new house. Talk about an expensive leg cramp. So what should you do right now? Start checking your pennies, especially those with the S mint mark and 1969 date. Use a magnifying glass or your phone's zoom feature. Look closely at the lettering. If you see strong, clear doubling, congratulations. You may be sitting on a coin worth more than some people's retirement savings. Verify authenticity. Don't try to sell it on eBay just yet. Get it graded and authenticated by reputable services like PCGS or NGC. This is not a yard sale item. This is your legacy moment. This is your escape from debt, your ticket to financial peace. And it all starts with a coin most people wouldn't glance at twice. Now here's the cliffhanger. You've just learned the story of the 1969 S penny. But did you know there are other Lincoln pennies, just as rare, just as valuable, sitting in circulation right now? And we're uncovering all of them, coin by coin, one video at a time. If you're ready to find wealth in the places no one's looking, if you're ready to stop missing opportunities worth 6 or 7 figures, subscribe, hit the bell, and check your coins. Because the next $1 million penny could be in your drawer right now.